Hello and welcome to Sketch in Review, the SNL sketch review show produced out of two apartments in metropolitan areas. There are better SNL review shows that have a lot bigger budgets than our $0.
$0 and not much more time spent recording in the editing room.
Yeah, listen, like, what you can basically say that whatever time this podcast shows as like runtime, the amount of time it takes to make this podcast is the time it takes to record, plus watching the episode, plus 5 minutes of editing for the video, and I assume probably like 7 minutes of editing for the audio.
You assume too much.
I just assume because you also have to convert the video to an audio format.
Oh, you. Yeah, I put it in what is it, Adobe Audition. And then when I put the video file into Audition, it says, "We can't work with this file. We'll convert this to an MP3 for you." And I was like, "Oh no, you've seen through my failures."
Thank you for fixing it for me. I made a mistake.
That's right.
So let's jump into the episode. For people who are watching this in the backlog, this is the episode that 30 Rock gets cleared out because of a COVID outbreak. So originally it was supposed to be Paul Rudd and Charlie XCX as a musical guest. And then reports started coming out, the dirt sheets, which I still haven't actually found. So this is just like a like online newspaper reporting, which is almost a dirt sheet for entertainment, I guess. Was like, don't expect to see Colin Jost, Aristotle Atari, or Sarah Sherman because they have COVID. Also, Ago, Kate McKinnon, and Cecily Strong have said they're not coming in because of the outbreak. So already I was like, huh, weird. And then SNL posts there's gonna be no band, no live audience, and literally like only when we get into it, only 5 actual like actors are in the studio, along with the saxophone player and minimal cast to record and run the actual show itself. And I assume Lorne Michaels is also there.
He doesn't leave. He lives there.
Yeah, he has a bed in his office. That's where he lives. And then on weekends, he goes home and visits his family.
Omicron shit is fucking scary. Like, they just like, it was 1 week, and then, oops, everybody's got it. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Obviously, we're both vaccinated. I still haven't gotten the booster yet, but I will. I know. I'm a bad corporate citizen.
I'm a bad corporate citizen too, but at least at least they take me to the vet every once in a while.
I live alone, and I work from home. So like I am not on the tier of like I need to get it immediately. I'm gonna let everyone who's on that tier get it, and then once it's open enough, I'll go get it.
Fair enough.
Dude, I don't even smoke, so I'm not even in the early category for New Jersey, which is really funny that was it at the beginning. Was like smokers could get it first. Anyway, so SNL shut down.
Yep.
So there's no cold open. We go straight into like a half monologue, which starts with Tom Hanks coming out.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Tom Hanks, noted member of the Five Timers Club.
Also noted person that had COVID that one time.
Mm-hmm. Fun little fact is Tom Hanks was also the host of the first SNL at Home episode. When everyone was in lockdown, Tom Hanks was the first host, which was where we got to see his beautiful home and beautiful bar that he has in that home.
Oh yeah, no. Tim Hanks is one of those special people. Honestly, every member of the Five Timers Club, barring something that I don't know about, is just like those few celebrities that like are just kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like no notes.
Yeah, I don't have like a distinct knowledge of who is and who isn't in the Five Timers Club.
That's true.
But anyway, so Tom Hanks comes out and he introduces Tina Fey. Comes out, another noted Five Timers member, and also very famous SNL alum. Created a sitcom based off of her time at SNL.
Yep. And a great sitcom, too.
Oh, love 30 Rock. I mean, listen, she named it 30 Rock, which is where SNL is filmed, and it's about a sketch comedy show.
Yep.
I don't, like, listen, she obviously loves SNL. So, of course, she was going to show up for Paul Rudd's Five Timers induction. She normally shows up because she's in New York, so she shows up a bunch for Five Timers stuff. Anyway, so they... Go ahead. No, they introduced Paul Rudd.
Martin Short's
cameo,
like indoctrination thing, where it's just the Tom. Oh, not Martin Short. I'm sorry,
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin featuring Martin Short. Steve Martin's one where it's just they re-recorded him saying Paul Rudd over him saying Tom Hanks, and it was so. Because Martin Short's also in the Five Timers Club now, right? That's why at the end they left in him saying, "You're not in it yet." He's like, "Yeah, I've only been in it for 3 times." I believe.
Yeah, I do not think Martin Short has made it to the Five Timers Club.
Really? Okay.
I feel like a lot of the times that you think that he's hosting, it's actually Steve Martin who's hosting. because they are inseparable, which is great. Listen, they work so well together. They're very funny, but
they're also just like fantastic, just really, really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we get a congratulations from Steve Martin and Martin Short, and also we get Keenan, the longest tenured cast member of SNL, is also in studio, and so is Michael Che.
Also
which
lives
we'll
in the building.
No. It's a known fact that he does have a life outside of SNL, kind of, because he was on all that as a child.
That's true.
He can only live though in a sketch comedy show. That's the. And he anoints Paul Rudd for his 5 timers. He calls him 4.5 because, let's face it, this is a half episode at best.
Yeah.
Hate to see it happen.
Yeah, but like I imagine like. It's going to be something that he's going to be able to carry with him as a joke whenever he comes back.
When he comes back next year to host Christmas.
That's right. Oh. Look left and look right and be like, "Are we sure we can do it this time?"
It'll be a good time. Luckily, there are a few pre-recorded new sketches that exist. They were managed to finish before SNL decided that the live part was optional. So our first one is the Home Goods sketch.
Oh, so good.
This sketch is about the filming of a commercial for Home Goods. Paul Rudd plays. I didn't write down his name, but his name is like basically Dave.
Casey Home Goods. Oh. I got the job on merit. What a fucking opening! It's such a classic joke, and I love it every time.
The I got the job on merit is so funny to me.
Yeah, because it also means that he's, like, the person that made Home Goods in the universe of this sketch is not named something Home Goods. This person's last name is Home Goods.
Anyway, so he's the director for this commercial shoot, and they have in 2 real shoppers who are moms, and they ask, "What do you want for Christmas?" You know, it's the classic SNL joke of no one knows what to get their mom for Christmas. They did it last year with Kristen Wiig's "All I Got Is a Robe" song, which I will say, despite the fact that like the Kristen Wiig episode is not good, that specific sketch killed in the middle-aged mom market. We're
talking about this sketch?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, last year Kristen Wiig sketch killed in the middle-aged mom market because my middle-aged mom showed it to everyone I've ever known.
A lot of these family sketches do really well in that area, and I like them too because, like, you know, I I have a mom.
Yeah.
I've got one of those.
Anyway, so they're like, so what do you want? And it starts off with one being like, oh, nothing, I'm not fussy. And then finally he's like, no, really, what do you want? And they both just start saying, grandchildren.
That's right. Oh, and they do it in their, like, very specific, like, goofy voice. Grandchildren.
Grandchildren! Grandchildren!
Putting emphasis on the wrong syllable. More people need to do that. So fucking good.
Oh.
So good.
Also, Aidy Bryant and Kate McKinnon have such a good chemistry.
Yes.
With each other. Like, any sketch where they are working together is always going to be so killer. It's like a Steve Martin short where it's just great every time you see it.
Yeah. And in a similar vein, they both have, like, very similar energy, but, like, slightly different in a way that they complement each other very well. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. And so the director keeps going like, can we not say grandchildren because Home Goods doesn't sell grandchildren. And they keep basically saying grandchildren. Like, don't you want children? He's like, no, I don't want children. And then it dawns on him that he does want grandchildren, though.
That's right. And then one of them gets a phone call, and then they're like, sorry, they're like
one of them is like, Kelsey's mom, and one of them is Kelsey's husband's mom.
And then turns out Kelsey's pregnant, and then they all just start cheering and jumping up and down, and it was just so sweet. It was just so nice. Mm-hmm. And the jokes were good. It was a great way to start a Christmas episode in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
Oh my god, it was great. Also when Kate's just like, I want to say something that bothers them, and they do the math on how long I'm going to live and decide it's not worth it.
It's so good.
Paul Rudd's, I want to have weird opinions about Israel. Not bad.
Not bad.
Weird.
It's a weird shape.
Listen, all three pre-records that we get, because I think that's it. I think there's only 3. I could be wrong. There might be a 4th.
I think there's 4, but I don't quote me on that.
Listen, since it's all like pretty much pre-recorded, they all kind of blended together for me. Straight up, there were times where I was writing down like the sketch name for it because I thought I knew a sketch was coming up, and then there was an entire other sketch thrown in there. So anyway, of the 3 or 4 new ones, this one, all of them were really good.
Yeah, no, really, really good.
Which makes it really unfortunate that one of them would have had to have gotten cut for time.
Yep, it's true.
And unfortunately,
replaced by some stupid sketch that isn't a dog sketch. No, thank you.
Unless it was a dog sketch.
Unless it was a dog sketch, in which case, you know what, fair play.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Keenan introduces the next one. How the episode basically works is Keenan, Tina, Paul Rudd, or Tom Hanks will do like just a little like. Basically like hosting of a clip show where they show up and they go about it, where they tell like a little story, and then like this sketch, name of sketch, is up next, and then you get to watch that sketch. So Keenan and Tina are there, and I just really like this one joke that he cracks during this little interlude, where Tina says Keenan's the only one who actually knows how to skate, even though we show that skating at 30 Rock, and Keenan just goes, Mighty Ducks forever.
God, I love it so much. I really like these interludes because, I mean, it's one of those things that SNL manages to do really, really well, where it's just like, these people clearly really, they're a bunch of like assumedly nice people all spending time with each other in this building trying to get this show off the ground, and they like this business, they like what they're doing, and these people were in these sketches, they're reminiscing about something that they enjoyed, and I think there's something special and genuine about that. It's a really good Christmas episode. They accidentally made a better version of A Very Merry Christmas by doing it for real this time.
I will also say that SNL is one of the few like TV shows where they could just show old things that they did that were good, and they still are like, and it's still a good like I'll still watch that episode. Like once
I won't, but it will still be a good episode.
Mm-hmm. Once I found out that this was basically going to be a clip show, I was like, all right, I'm strapping in. It's still going to be funny. Anyway, so we move into the next sketch, which is The Lonely Island's Dick in a Box.
Classic
Classic little Christmas sketch. Not really my favorite Lonely Island song. Not
Me either. My favorite's the fucking one with the Captain Jack Sparrow and all that.
Yeah. With Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton, thank you.
Yeah, that one's really good. Obviously, Like a Boss is so classic to me. And Threw It on the Ground is also another great. Anyway, Lonely Island is always great. A lot of fun. Always going to be a like hit with everyone. And this one's obviously Christmas themed because it's about giving your dick as a gift. And I think the wildest part for me was just to see, like, young Andy Samberg, young Maya Rudolph, young Kristen Wiig, and young Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
Fair. Like 38 to 45 Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
A great time. No notes.
Yeah, no notes. Listen, we'll go over Dick in a Box if we ever do a sketch-up episode on that episode.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's just not much to say about Dick in a Box. It's got one joke. They do it... Maybe it goes on a little long. Whatever. Who
but
cares?
Even then, it's like a short song.
Yeah. It's... And also, it's just, like, it's too iconic to touch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you all know Dick in a Box.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll watch it and you'll be like... I don't get it. You'll be like, that's fine. It's a fun joke about a penis. So, like,
Yeah. Though, I think the weirdest part for me is, like, if SNL made that nowadays, the, like, step one, cut a hole in a box, like, that whole refrain would have happened 2 or 3 times.
It's true.
It happens one time in that entire song, and it's the second most iconic part of the song.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. Again, no notes.
Yep. So we move on. Next up is the next new pre-recorded sketch. An Evening with Pete Davidson. This, I'm pretty sure that this one would have been cut for time because it's so fucking weird. But oh my god, do I love it.
Sin. It would have been a sin if they cut this for time.
God himself struck down 30 Rock to make sure that this sketch could air on Christmas.
So Paul Rudd introduces this sketch talking about how, for Pete Davidson, his classic black and white film is Raging Bull, which, I love Raging Bull because I'm very Italian.
It's a very self-identified Staten Island song, if ever there was, or not song, movie for Christmas, if there ever was one.
Anyway,
of course,
so it
the
starts.
correct answer for that is always Die Hard.
I mean, yeah, but that's not in black and white.
True, it's true.
So anyway, it starts with Pete Davidson in 2054. Doing the opening of Raging Bull, where he's in, like, a shitty suit he's too fat for, and he's, like, smoking and staring into the mirror and talking at himself because he's been concussed so hard. And Dismukes comes on and he says, hey, listen, you got Weekend Update in 5. And he's like, I'll be there in 6.
God.
And it cuts...
It's so stylish. It's also just, like, it's got... They lean into that whole aesthetic where there's cigarette smoke wafting up in pretty much every single scene. I don't know anything about cinematography, but probably something cinematography word. It's just like
they have a lot of diffused lighting is the term.
Ooh, yes, they do that thing.
It's so, and like it cuts, and Pete obviously owns this bar here because he's a washed up performer, and that's what sports people do and such. Fucking It's so, because it plays on, Jake LaMotta also owned a bar where he basically did what Pete does, where he goes on and he plays the hits. Anyway, Pete Davidson goes on stage for this bar, and he's doing a Weekend Update special with Colin Jost-Bot.
God, so good. Colin Jost.
And someone from the audience is like, "Do Chad."
I can't just do Chad.
It's a 2-person sketch. Do Chad. Okay. And that's the full thing, and everyone's cheering. It's so... I don't know if it's like... I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's surrounded by an empty 30 Rock, but it feels so... that sketch feels so apocalyptic to me.
Really? Wild.
I don't know what it is about it. I think it's because, like, everything we know about what's going on at the studio at the moment. But also, I don't know, because eventually he meets his old writing partner, pushes him away, and goes to meet him out on a bench. And that bench is alone in the entire world. And that's the only thing that exists in that shot. There's no other part to it. Like, normally there'd be a background or something. I get that's supposed to be stylistic and stuff, but also Raging Bull's a sad movie.
Yeah, no, I get you. I haven't seen Raging Bull, but I watch a lot of noir movies because I guess I'm just trying to get a jump start on being my dad. It filled a lot of that with like this old washed up like asshole, and he's just like nobody wants to hang out with him. We're hanging around in smoky bars and being sad and trying to but there's also this angle where he's like trying to throw out these like exchanges and stories with people, and people just don't have the fucking time for it. It's very good. It's just like it leans so hard into its aesthetic, and it's just funny by virtue of being like a lot of things don't. SNL rarely has the confidence to, or I don't. It cashes out too early on a lot of these things. It like does a silly out of style joke, and then you're like, okay, well now I'm out of it. And it was already funny. It's already funny that it's like it's all of these. It's already funny that this Pete Davidson, this youthful guy that's like really popular right now, showing him at the like worst, most washed up, like playing it so hard that it is itself a joke. It's really, really good. I can't. It's so.
There's also something to be said. SNL I don't know, for me personally, there's like a part of SNL that just kind of relies on, look at these historically funny people playing it straight in sketches that I love. Where, you know, it's like when you see your created character in like a video game cutscene, you're like, that doesn't belong.
That's right. Oh, you're right. That's also a part. It's just, so good. So very good. And then it also, again, a lot of these, they did a very good job. Nobody wants to be sad right now. It's the holidays and it's Corvin. Like, all of these sketches, even the fucking Raging Bull one, they all have happy endings. We don't have time for others.
I don't know. I think the next sketch that we have to talk about does not have a happy ending.
Oh god, is it the one I'm thinking of, or
it's the Elves?
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have a happy.
That one's a twofer. So we move into another old school sketch. Keenan introduces this one. He tells the story. He came up with the idea and pitched it to a writer who giggled and wrote the whole sketch. And he says that part of the thing he loves is to see like people just writing stuff to make themselves laugh. Yep. Which the best SNL sketches are all written because the person who wrote them laughed at this idea.
Yes, and you can tell when those sketches come up because it's not based on the news. It's not based on something that's going on, or it might be, but it's not based. It's just, and it's weird. It's always out of left. Somebody wrote the word "doghead man" on a fucking whiteboard and then put a $sign through the S, and then everybody laughed. Like that's it. That's
yep.
It's.
Anyway, so Naughty Elves. The entire gimmick of this sketch is that three of Santa's elves are not building toys in hopes of having Santa dominatrix style punish them.
It's a fun bit. I always get uncomfortable with these sketches in SNL because SNL is uncomfortable with these sketches because there's only so much they can say, and so they end up like they're always awkward to me. But the joke itself is very funny, and they do a better job than most times, like skirting the line on it.
It's also fun, like especially for these older sketches, which is to see how like the bar has kind of changed. I'll definitely get into that in the sketch after this, but anyway, so basically, yeah, that's the whole sketch is just them basically being like, "Are you gonna punish us, Santa?" And Bobby Moynihan plays a quality Santa.
Yeah, he does. I really, and it couldn't have been the punchline, but I think the best part of the sketch was when they were like, why aren't you just fucking railing us, Santa? And then he's like, if this were 3,000 years ago, I'll tell you. But now this is why I'm Santa. I've evened out. I would have preferred it though if when he said Mrs. Claus was the boss, we did
we did a female dominatrix.
Yeah, like that would have been a good punchline instead of "you're all fired."
Yeah, which not a happy ending. Listen, those elves lost their job.
I mean, you know, those sexually harassing elves lost their job. So
fair.
We'll take it. But I think the more fun punchline for the world that we've created was more along the lines of no, I'm not going to fuck you, but this person will. Like that's I don't know, but still, it's a fun enough sketch. It was weird when the person on the far left, I don't know if they were a cast member or the host, was holding
Ryan Gosling,
a gumdrop. Yeah, okay, Ryan Gosling was holding a gumdrop over his junk, and I thought the joke was that he had a boner, but the joke was that he was going to drop the gumdrop.
I think it was a twofer. I think that one was a twofer.
I guess it kind of confused me though, because when he lifted it, there was not a boner, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah, listen.
We're missing. Dick jokes are the easiest goals. So. You just say the word; it's a funny word.
Mm-hmm. All right,
it's up there with poo.
So after the Naughty Elves comes Tom Hanks introduces a sketch from his 5th time hosting, which was in 1991, which for me like kind of blows my mind that Tom Hanks hosted SNL 5 times before Clinton was elected.
He's so famous. He's
know.
Been famous for his whole life. I remember watching him in fucking. One of my friends and I, we watched like 2 seasons of Family Ties, like as a joke.
Is Tom Hanks in Family Ties?
Yeah, he plays. It's very funny. He plays the scum of the earth.
Oh,
he
wow.
plays an uncle of the kids. Like I think the father's brother. And he every single time he has a different problem.
Oh, he's the very special episode family member.
He is every very special episode. He's an alcoholic at one episode, and he ends up drinking maraschino cherry fluid because it has alcohol in it. And then that's when they decide they need to take... I think every episode he gets taken to rehab. I don't know for sure.
That's...
Oh, there is an episode unrelated to this, in which Marty McFly starts taking speed, repaints his whole room, and then his dad comes in and realizes that he's on speed and says, and he's like, "Are you mad?" And he's like, No, kid. We all did speed, and
That's unreal.
But anyway, at one point he like comes on to his niece. It was weird. He only played the worst person ever.
Anyway, yeah, so Tom Hanks has been famous forever, as it turns out.
Absolutely.
Which really does also show our age, because we have no idea about Tom Hanks Forrest Gump, basically.
Pre-big.
Yeah, pre-big. Anyway, so we get a global warming Christmas special. A 1991 take on global warming.
So we get Shrek himself. we get the guy that made 3 very long movies that almost ruined Dick Joe.
Almost.
I don't like Michael Myers. I don't like him.
I love Michael Myers. But I will say that his Carl Sagan sucks. He sounds like Kermit the Frog the whole time.
Because he just does his Mike Myers. He does his fucking Mike Myers goofy voice, and then he does his Mike Myers goofy face. The problem with Mike Myers is that he is allegedly a funny person, but you can't let him run the show. He doesn't deserve a show.
You're right. He doesn't deserve a show, but he definitely does.
Him Shrek. He's great as Shrek. He needs a director. Someone needs to tell this man what to do, because if he does something, he's gonna make a mess.
Anyway, Tom Hanks comes out as Dean Martin, which for the youngins, Dean Martin was a classic rat. He wasn't part of the Rat Pack, which is Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and others. But he was like akin to them. They blew up at the same time, and they all hosted like holiday specials, New Year's Eve, that kind of stuff. Because back in the day,
these are people that now are only famous for Christmas music, essentially.
I mean, minus Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr., who all have extensive careers in music.
Dean Martin, I would say, I only know him for Christmas things. You're right. Every single other member of the Rat Pack, I don't.
Ain't that a kick in the head?
No, I like that song. Yeah, I know Dean made it. I'm just saying, you say Dean Martin, I think Christmas.
Oh, maybe it's because I'm Italian again. Dean Martin was much bigger in my household. Anyway, Tom Hanks comes on as like a pretty good Dean Martin for like how he acts during all those specials, because he is hammered the entire time. So we get like some jokes about global warming, how the Christmas trees are gonna be like 2 inches off the ground as the biggest one. We cut to I don't even know who was on SNL at the time. I'm gonna be honest. 91 is there's a distinct you hit a certain point, and I have no idea about SNL.
One of the guys was what's his name? The non Mike Myers alike.
Dana.
Some Mike Myers stuff. What?
Dana Carvey?
Yeah, Dana Carvey was in there.
Yeah, Dana Carvey comes in later. I was talking specifically about the girl who plays Archie Bunker's daughter.
Yeah, what was that? Like, this is the wild thing about this sketch is just like,
I think we're just missing the cultural touchstones that it hit. Because
you don't need cultural touchstones for Dick in a Box.
Yeah, no, that's why Dick in a Box is a better sketch for the long run.
I'm being mad. I'm mad.
Okay. Because I do feel like there's like a distinct part, because we're children of the internet, we don't understand that only having TV was really like.
Yeah.
And so
I don't think we understood what being an adult in the 90s was like. It sounds terrible. I'd hate to do it.
Yeah. It sounds like you're just watching a woman break down on TV about the horrors of the future.
Yeah, I guess the joke was at some point she did a special and didn't know what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. That has to have been it, right?
Yeah, it must have been. It's also just SNL obviously is they thrive off of being what's the word? Topical?
Yeah. Topical's a good.
Yeah, they thrive off of being topical. And which means that some of these sketches are going to be topical, and some of them are not going to be great for, watching
30 years later.
Yeah, watching 30 years later. That's why you don't put it in a Christmas special.
Also, maybe talking about the horrors of global warming in the middle of a pandemic wasn't the best idea.
I mean, Steve Martin's intro Very fun. Where he was like, I
Tom
miss
Hanks?
the days where all we had to worry about was Tom Hanks, because obviously he was in it. Yeah, I miss when that was the only thing we had to worry about. We were like, oh, ha ha ha, and then we buckled in for 5 hours of the worst sketch. It's not the worst sketch. I hated it. I couldn't stand it.
Listen. I know. Last week we designated the Cake Sketch Award, and we said it's not going to be an every day, every week thing. It's not, because this is not a cake sketch. This is a sketch that would have worked at the time, probably.
That's true. It would have still been too long. It wouldn't have been a great sketch, but it would have been functional at the time. You make a good point.
Also, it's very interesting to see like how sketch has evolved from 1991 to 2021, where
it was good before the 90s.
Yes,
it was good. It wasn't always bad.
No. It was good. So it was good, and then Lorne left for a few years, and the show almost died. But luckily, Eddie Murphy put it on his back and carried it until Lorne came back.
Oh, love it, love him.
And then we get the '90s and early 2000s that everyone remembers of SNL. And then we get the middle part of like the 2010s, basically.
Sure.
And then we hit 2016 when when obviously the era changes as it just becomes Trump jokes for 4 years.
Yep.
And now we're in the COVID era.
Oh boy. Here comes the new disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also fucking like, it's gotta be like 12 minutes long.
God, it's insufferable. They had to pad for time, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's straight up.
I would have rather just have all of the people here just vamp on stage and let
Mm-hmm.
We had that shitty show and we were just nobody showed up, so we just vamped in the corner and everybody was having a good time, including the audience. Like, why didn't they just do that?
Yeah, it's such. Anyway, and then it ends by bringing the actual Ralph Nader out, which makes you think, did SNL cause Bill Clinton to become president?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because I think Ralph Nader was like at least partially key in splitting the Republican vote to allow Clinton to win.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, listen. Anyway, yeah, not a great sketch. Definitely not a great sketch. 30 years later, when all of the fucking what is it? The neediness of the air for like what you're touching on to actually like make sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so we finish that, and then we move on to Weekend Update. And Weekend Update was fun because we get Tina Fey back for a mini Weekend Update.
Yeah, it's always fun, and it's just, you just see they're trying. They did it. They did the update.
They told jokes to 3 people in the audience. The 3 people were Kenan Thompson, Paul Rudd, and Tom Hanks. And you're just telling jokes to your friends.
And without a Michael Shea to make fun of, without a Colin Jost to make fun of, Michael Shea decided to instead make fun of Tom Hanks. It's great.
Listen, he just subbed out one rich white dude for another.
That's right. It's great.
They all look the same. It's fine.
That's right. It's just, what did I say during the at the end of the sketch? It's what a great time. Just 4 fabulously wealthy people and Michael Shea having a great time. It's just 5 people that seem to really enjoy each other's company, trying to hold together a sinking sketch show and doing a great job because they're all professionals. Like there's something really special about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, they had some pretty good jokes. Tina had a solid. Colin Jost isn't out because of COVID. He's out because he's getting work done, which is just quality Jost. Even when he can't write on the show because he's at home, still getting a quality Jost roast.
Yeah, and also it's more of a her time on SNL joke, but actually no, I think it's more of a back when we had more women writing Weekend Update joke. But it's a reversal of it's not what you think. They're not getting work done. They're sick. It's not what you think. They're not sick. They're getting work done.
And then I'm glad that Tina got the man who got kicked off of airplane for wearing women's panties joke in.
Yep. Yep. Oh.
Quality weekend update. It always is.
Yeah.
Even at like this, we're sitting in chairs. We don't have the update desk. We don't have the update background.
And it just shows just the strength of the writing and delivery. That like the pictures would be great. The desk is fun. We really just need the people and the words, and we used the people and the words, and it worked.
All right. So after weekend update, we get the musical sketch with Paul Rudd and Kyle Mooney about the bird.
This is do you know the reference that this song's making?
I know. I like they're fucking like the way that they said it and stuff. I understand that they're 100% like it hits like a part in the back of my brain, but I don't have it like in the front of my brain.
So among people, it might just be among people that need to make long car rides for Christmas. There is a radio song that gets played all the time, and it is insufferable. It is long. It is sad as hell. It's about a kid that's poor and his mother has cancer. And it's just, I don't know, it might end well. I don't listen to it because it is apparently, or it is really catchy also. So you just have this like, I'm going to buy these shoes. It's just, the insufferable thing is that it is a sad, long Christmas song that you need to listen to because it's the only Christmas song on the radio. And we're only listening to Christmas songs on this car ride. And nobody likes Christmas shoes. It is a staple of Christmas time.
Oh wow, I've probably heard it once or twice randomly.
Yeah, no, you're better off for it. It's not good. Or it's good. It's not good. I don't like it. Cake song of the night. And so because the joke of this one is it's Christmas socks, not Christmas shoes, and the kid can't afford the Christmas socks. And it's weird, though, because instead of leaning into how painfully sad they've made this song, they just lent into how really weird it is that some guy is stopping a kid in a store, and everyone's upset that they're stopping this kid in a store for, like, 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's fun, too. I'd rather them have really ripped this song a new one. It's entirely possible that I'm putting my hatred of this song on everyone else.
Like your hatred of Blink-182?
It's true. But I will say that my Blink-182 hatred is less founded than my hatred for this song. My Blink-182 hatred is, that's a journey I need to take on my own.
My biggest thing about like this sketch specifically, and I don't know if it's part of the actual song, do they just consistently rhyme the same word like every single time? Because I don't know, I lost count of how many times they went dot 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 bird, dot 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 word, or dot 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 word, dot 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 bird.
I don't know. I don't, because again, I go to great lengths to avoid this song. So. Yeah, I'm not.
I was like, oh my god, did all the writers like just stop and fucking someone who can't rhyme had to figure out what to do?
Oh, you know what? That sounds right. That sounds like some Christmas shoes bullshit. Fuck Christmas shoes.
Anyway, so Kyle Mooney's this kid who's trying to buy socks for his mom. They're upset because their bird ran away, and Paul Rudd talks to the child and offers him money to buy the socks, but first talks to him about the bird and whether or not it talked. What's its name? Its name is TJ Rocks.
TJ Rocks.
If I ever had a bird, I'm naming it TJ Rocks.
Absolutely, but I take the K off because Rock's a fun bird thing.
No. ROX. TJ Rocks.
Shit. Oh shit! All right, that's fair. I really liked. I liked how much weird shit they put in this sketch. I think it could have. I would have again. If they wanted to pander me, they could have ripped a hole in the song I didn't like, and they did enough making fun of it. There is something really fun about all the weird bullshit in this sketch, and they do some classic jokes like,
Why is this man talking to this child, Jets? Like my favorite where he says, I'm a friend of your son, and the mom goes, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, like I think my favorite parts are the store clerk being like, "Hey, listen, like we've got a huge line. Can you buy the socks and fucking like move on? You can continue this conversation 10 feet after he buys the socks." And then the second time that they start talking, and Heidi Gardner's character is like, "Can you fucking just buy the socks and can we get on with this, please?"
But one more question.
And then TJ Rocks shows up, played by Charlie XCX. And
then he asks to marry the wife or to the mom, and she says yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fucking Christmas card from the TJ Rocks family. It's a dumb fucking ending. It's amazing. I love it.
Listen, it's a lot of fun. I also love in the middle of the Christmas shoes parody, they decide to do a Beach Boys fucking like California rock song in the middle of it.
Oh my god!
Which I know nothing of Charlie XCX's music. But assuming that was a play on the style of music that she does, that would be hilarious. Yeah, if it's not but it's still out of left field and very fun.
Oh my god!
The sketch was a lot of fun, I will say.
Yeah.
Next sketch, we have Paul Rudd introduces, he talks about how when he was young, he loved SNL and he would memorize Steve Martin's monologues that he famously gave at a bunch of different SNL episodes, because he has hosted at least 16 times. The most to host ever, I believe. He is the mostest hostest. Anyway, so we get Steve Martin's Holiday Wish sketch, which is just a solid 3-minute monologue in which Steve Martin sits on a chair in front of a Christmas tree and says, "If I could have one wish, I would wish for all the children to sing peace and happiness. If I had 2 wishes, I would wish for the children thing, and then I would wish for $30 million every month, tax-free in a Swiss bank account. If I had 3 wishes, I would wish for absolute power over everyone. If I had 4 wishes, I would wish for a 31-day orgasm." And then slowly, so he adds...
Oh, wait, don't forget.
He needs to...
Death to all his enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Can't forget about death
They
to all
have
his
to burn in hell.
They have to, like pigs in hell.
Mm-hmm. And the entire time, as he continues to think, like, well, if I could have my own holiday wish, he slowly but surely starts moving the children back in the order. And all in all, it's just a solid comedic monologue. Short, sweet, it knows what it wants to say, and then it's done.
Incredibly solid. Just so... Honestly, I think it's just so classic, I forgot it was from SNL. Or at least didn't know it was... I've seen this before. It's really good.
It's one of those things that Steve Martin was never a cast member, although it kind of feels like it given how often he's on SNL. And it's just solid comedy writing, I assume by Steve Martin himself, to just perform on SNL.
Yeah.
And it's solid. You could read this and you'd be like, that's funny.
Yeah, you can. Like the escalation is so perfect. The way he reiterates things, but he does them in different ways each time, and the way he constantly adds more weight to the other things, and then eventually the one about all the children singing together in harmony becomes at the end, and then the crap about the kids. It's so he nails it so hard. It's poetry. It's literally poetry, but it's also figuratively poetry. It's also poetically poetry.
Just a quality sketch. So next up we get Keenan introduces one of his favorite holiday sketches when Steve Martin hosted, in which he talks about how it's fun when you get what I talked about, where it's like these very famous people, instead of these very silly people playing serious roles, for Keenan, he really loves seeing these very serious people in these silly roles. And so we get Monty the Triangle Player, the sketch. And And this sketch is quality old. It's not even old school SNL because Cecily Sudeikis, Fred Armisen, and Keenan are all in it. I know Keenan's a lot. Like, okay, cool. Keenan's in a lot of sketches.
Yeah.
But still, so we still have Cecily and Keenan on the cast, so it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the gimmick is Cecily Strong and Jason Sudeikis are hosting auditions for the last song in their community Christmas pageant. Martin Short and Paul McCartney from the Beatles show up, and they're like, "We're gonna sing our song. I'm Steve Martin. I am the singer. This is Monty. He plays the triangle, and he doesn't sing." "Oh, but I want to sing." "No, you can't." And the entire time it's just Steve Martin screaming at Paul McCartney that he can't sing. He can only play the triangle. He's an idiot, and I hate you.
We're only doing this because we are cousins because of marriage. It's so good.
It's so funny. And obviously it's required that you need to know who Paul McCartney is.
But that's a lower bar.
Yeah,
that's a very low bar.
It's a low bar, and especially because with Keenan introducing it, he says that it's Paul McCartney as Monty, which helps people who don't know what Paul McCartney looks like.
Yeah, and also just like there's to this sketch's credit and to the detriment of the global warming sketch, the people at SNL are very good at this, and it's very hard to do through the language of the sketch, communicating all that you need to know to understand the context for why this is funny, even if you don't know everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very good at this at SNL because they need to. They want to make these jokes. They're known for making these jokes that are very topical, but they also need to make these same jokes for everyone because that's how SNL makes money. They're the sketch show for everyone.
Mm-hmm. They are, yeah. They make it for everyone as long as you're left.
Oh.
I think my favorite part about like the idea that SNL is only for the left is sometimes very left-leaning like reactor YouTubes will react to SNL sketches, and sometimes SNL will just say something that's like a little conservative, and they'll be like, I don't understand why they're saying this. I could die. Anyway, the only thing I do want to say is apparently I haven't seen the Monty the Triangle Player sketch before, but I do believe because I saw on the internet, so it has to be true.
Absolutely.
That this sketch originally ended, Steve Martin runs off, and then Paul McCartney sings Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Oh, that's wonderful. I wish he sung a better song other than the one he wrote, but that's good.
But you know, it's Paul McCartney. He's going to sing the song he wrote, and I don't think SNL has the rights to play that again on TV.
Oh, that's funny.
So so they had to cut that out, but still, you know, the sketch works even without that payoff at the end to hear Paul McCartney sing.
Yep.
So after Monty the Triangle Player, so many sketches, by the way, guys, because there's no musical guest, so they just filled it with more sketches.
Yep. There were 2 cameos by musical guests, so we could count those as the performances.
And even then, so
3 cameos
Charlie,
by musical guests.
Oh yeah, because Justin Timberlake, Charlie XCX, and
Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah, and Paul McCartney. I guess that one counts.
That one guy that was in that band a while ago.
Yeah. Before we fully move on, also, Monty the Triangle Player. I do love the idea that some of the shit that Steve Martin was screaming might have just been quotes from John Lennon at the end of the Beatles. I'm the singer. I'm the talent. Anyway, so we move on. Tom Hanks introduces this next sketch from Eddie Murphy's Return to SNL from 2019. When I saw this episode live, this sketch, I was like, oh, that's fun, but it wasn't really my favorite of the night. But, oh boy, like, looking back on it, is it, like, a really good sketch? This is
really good.
This is the North Pole News Report, and the entire sketch is, there's been an accident at one of Santa's factories, and they're reporting, we don't really know what it is, and Eddie Murphy comes in, and just starts screaming about a polar bear attack. Which, first off, just like the idea of a polar bear attack on the Elves is such a rich vein because they do also live at the North Pole. And this one really taps into what one of Eddie Murphy's biggest strengths, which is yelling into a camera frantically.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy is really, really good at it. There's a reason why when he was a featured player, they asked him to vamp for like 5 minutes to end the show, because he can just run around and be crazy and it's fine and it'll work out.
He's really, really good.
You get to see Chloe Fineman from her first year as a featured player. As Eddie Murphy's like, this white elf, this small white woman elf, ran up to me, a black elf in sweatpants, to ask her to keep her safe. You know it's bad out here. It's so great. And that whole the Eddie Murphy episode has a cake sketch, and that cake sketch almost works.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Really good.
It's so perfect.
It also doesn't I don't remember what the punchline is, but it manages to stick the landing also.
The punchline is that after we get a bunch of Eddie Murphy being like, the polar bears got everyone's dead, Santa knew, #Santa knew.
Santa knew.
We also get a quick little Instagram post from the Tooth Fairy.
With the thoughts and prayers, damn.
We don't need thoughts and prayers, we need guns and ammunition, because eating this good isn't going to stay a secret for long.
Yes!
There's so many good lines in this sketch.
Absolutely.
And it ends with you start hearing the growling of a bear, and Mikey Day, the news reporter, is like, I think it's singing, and Eddie Murphy goes, that ain't singing, it's a bear, and then a bear claw hits Mikey Day, and Eddie Murphy just grabs the camera, shakes it, and screams into it in classic Eddie Murphy fashion.
Good.
Perfect end to a very good sketch.
Absolutely. Very, very good.
After this,
a lot of winners.
After this, we get a Paul Rudd-led sketch from, I think, his 4th or 3rd time hosting.
I remember this one.
And this is the adult One Direction fan sketch. This falls into one of SNL's strengths as a pre-recorded sketch, which is famous person being a dick to kids. Because there's this one where you have Paul Rudd just like being an asshole to young girls who are One Direction fans, where he's like, you're not gonna marry Zayn because I know what he likes and it's not you.
Oh my god.
You should know Niall's a natural brunette. Oh, you don't know your basic facts. And it's just so funny because it's just a grown man who shouldn't care this much.
Yep.
Constantly reminding people that he has a wife and children. Good bit. Honestly, this was not my favorite. I was not enjoying this sketch very much, but it is still very... I was not enjoying the sketch as much as the other sketches, but it was still very strong.
Mm-hmm. It's a very strong sketch. It falls in with like the Peyton Manning UNICEF commercial from when he hosted, where he's hitting kids with footballs and shit. It's just celebrities being dicks to kids. It's so... It's just such a good, like, easy sketch.
Yeah.
And, I'm glad, because SNL used this, they reposted this sketch on, like, their Instagram and stuff as, like, the hype videos for, like, remember when Paul Rudd hosted last time? We got this sketch. And it was this sketch. So I think it's very funny that when they ended up not being able to do the episode, they decided, alright, well, let's just show that sketch again. So after that, we get... Yep. So after that, we get a Jimmy Fallon hosted sketch of Now That's What I Call Christmas, which really really touched like my because I remember being a kid watching TV, and then a commercial would come on and it would be an ad for the Now That's What I Call Music, and then a number afterwards. I think there's like 80 now at least.
Oh yeah, there's so many.
And all it is just a greatest hits of, like, that year. So this is another SNL character carousel. This one, instead of being crazy characters, though, it's just impressions of famous people that the cast can do. So
yeah, and like there's still famous people that are famous now, but also the famous people that I don't give a fuck about.
yeah, it is interesting to see like who was the cultural touchstone for music at the time, as opposed to like now, because you get Pitbull, Shakira, DMX, Alan Rickman.
Yeah. And again, actually, what got me thinking about Die Hard from earlier is that this was a Christmas bit, and Alan Rickman was in a Christmas movie, and
But they went with Snape instead because Harry Potter was big at the time.
Yeah. Also, just like the impressions weren't very good. Like none of them were very good.
I think the Alanis Morissette, Lorde, and Billy Joe Armstrong impressions were good.
That's fair. I don't know any of those people enough to say if it was bad. I will say the Jimmy Fallon's Michael Bublé impression made me angry. It was offensively bad. And I don't mean in like, nobody treats my boy Mickey Bubbles like this. I'm saying like, he did not do a good impression. And then he did that thing where since you're fucking up, and it's better that you do this than doing a bad impression, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's something that I would have said, just do it if I was in that situation. But looking at it now, it was a bad idea.
Where he fails at the impression, so he just says what the impression was supposed to be.
He goes overpronouncing every line, and he didn't overpronounce any word other than maybe the second half of overpronounce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, it wasn't a great Bublé impression, but we got the joke, and everyone else was decent enough.
I guess
Kate McKinnon does a bad Shakira, but
is a terrible Shakira, and it wasn't even a great Pitbull.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad. There's like
the DMX was like.
The DMX was accurate.
Yeah, like you were doing the things that people know DMX for. I don't know if that makes it a good DMX impression as much as it does make it a good crash course on a DMX impression from someone that might not be very good at it.
You know what's really funny is there's also a recording of DMX doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer specifically, and it's almost exactly like that.
I gotta get more into DMX. I only like his shit.
Anyway,
yeah. So it's a fine sketch. It does. It's not their best. It's not their worst.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah, and it's not long.
Mm-hmm. And then we get our 10 minutes to one sketch, which is a Funhouse TV Productions. I don't know enough about early 2000s SNL to know anything about Funhouse TV Productions. If anyone wants to give me like a paragraph to read next time, email us at billyhatemail@gmail.com. That is BILLYHATEMAIL@gmail.com. That is a real email address, and I will look at them and maybe read them on the podcast if they're good. Anyway, so our 10 minutes to one sketch, we get Christmas Time for the Jews, which is just a fun little song about how on Christmas Day, all of the Christians are, with their families and at home and stuff, and so the Jews just get to run around and have fun without worrying. It's a very fun sketch. It's very good claymation, which is interesting.
It's spectacular claymation. It's like obviously not spectacular. Not I'm learned in this. It's just like you actually really tried on this, huh? You spent a lot of time on this, huh? Like it's really
smooth.
I'm impressed.
It was
as
so
a layman,
smooth.
I'm impressed.
All of like the movements, there was no like choppiness to it.
Yeah, like there's also just something about it that, again, as a layman, claymation is just magic. It's wonderful to see. And no matter how simple whatever it is, that somebody spent hours and hours on it. And that's also magic. Like the Jew jokes, like, it's classic safe Jew jokes by Jews for Jews for the, time immemorial.
Circumcising squirrels, changing a nativity scene to be Seinfeld.
Yeah, like it's a good time, and everyone likes it. We've all heard it before. We're kind of here for the claymation.
Yeah.
Really good. And the song also really good.
Yeah, the song was a banger. It is available on Spotify if you want. If you want to add it to your Christmas playlists.
I might.
I might. Anyway, so that was the last sketch, and then we get goodbyes where Paul Rudd just tells a fun little joke. Definitely stay for goodbyes this time. I think it was just a little fun. Also, it was like, it's pretty fun to see the 5 people there and then air hugging each other because they can't touch.
Yeah. Also, I forget what the joke Paul Rudd gave was.
It's like what Tom Hanks said in my favorite movie.
Oh yeah.
Forrest Gump. Life is like a big weird chocolate, and then it keeps going and just absolutely bombing the line in the funniest
And Michael
way.
Che is in the background cracking up because I don't know if he wrote it or he just or he has never heard this before. He has never heard Paul Rudd do this in he was not knowing this, but my favorite part of that whole thing was just that Michael Che was having such a good time.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those, I don't know, I feel like sometimes it was like the perfect length of the joke where you start something wrong and you just keep going and you just keep going and it slowly falls off the rails and then you end it and then you say, yeah, that's my favorite quote.
Yeah. And
there's something about playing it straight where you think you nailed it.
Yes, absolutely. It's hard to, there's so many ways in which SNL can fuck something up. And it's really, I guess it just comes to the fact that you need to have someone as talented as the 5 people on that stage to do something like that, either off the cuff or deliver a line off the cuff, deliver a line, or you need somebody on staff to write it. You need all these, it was like a brain trust on stage. I was really impressed and loved all of it. It was very good.
So normally for our podcast, we would do an offensive player of the week and the defensive player of the week. Given the circumstances of the show and the fact that there was no actual sketch work to be done for the most part, besides
Everybody gets both.
Keenan gets both. Yeah, everybody gets both.
Time Magazine 2014 all over again.
2006. Get your facts right.
Time Magazine year, people. All I know is the one that I was for.
And you don't even know that one because it was 2006.
No, I was 2014 as well.
Oh, was that one the internet?
No, I've got no idea. I'm just gonna pretend it was.
Because there's one that's you and there's one that's the internet.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Time Magazine.
This time it was fucking Elon Tusk. Nobody likes him. Stop giving him things.
Yeah, but just because you don't like someone doesn't mean they weren't personal. Listen. Alright, so this is going to be a bit of a diatribe, but Time's Person of the Year is not who's the best person. It's not like best actress or best actor or best supporting. It's the most influential person of the year. Hitler won it in 1939. Do you think people were like, Hitler was a good guy in 1939? No, but he was fucking important. Stalin won it 3 or 4 times. It's not about being a good person, it's about being influential. And listen,
just saying,
Elon Musk might be the most influential person of 2021. Connor taking a pro-Hitler stand.
No, I'm saying you had to tell a lot of people in 1939 that Hitler wasn't cool. That was like a thing that we were trying to do so we could get in the war.
Yeah, but nobody was like, oh, why is Hitler person of the year?
I'm going to take a stand. I'm an anti-Hitler person of the year 1939. I think that wasn't cool, Time Magazine.
Okay. It's not the Nobel Peace Prize, guys. It's a weekly magazine's person of the year.
It's true.
Anyway, so we can't do our normal offensive defensive players. So Connor came up with the idea that we're just going to do best new sketch and best old sketch of the night. So best new sketch, I'll go first. I think the Home Goods ad was the best new sketch of the night. I think that it's going to have the most staying power. It hits its theme quick and easy, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think it's a very good pre-recorded sketch, so that's going to be my new sketch of the night. Connor?
Yeah, no, it's a solid pick. I love that sketch a lot. Were it not for my love of deeply weird sketches, I would be with you. But I'm gonna have to give it to Raging Bull.
The sketch.
Yeah, Raging Bull the sketch. It was so weird. It was so stylish. It was just a joy. I loved every second of it.
Yeah,
I
it was
wouldn't trade it for anything.
it was a good time. I enjoyed it as well. Best old sketch, Connor. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll give it to the. It's hard. It's hard because I'm tied between two. Um, I want to give it to the monologue because it's just so tight. But no, I'm giving it to the triangle sketch because it just made me laugh more. It was so it's so funny. What like the conceit was just so clean and fun. We've got this really famous singer, and we're not gonna let him sing because I assure you, he's a terrible singer.
Yeah,
And we all know it's dramatic irony. We all know he's a good singer. We're going to insist that he's a bad singer, and then the whole sketch is just Martin Short laying into him and just insisting that the thing we know not to be true is true. It's everybody did a great job. It's a fun time. It makes me smile.
Yep. So listen, I think it's also a very good sketch. Solid choice. I'm going to go with a global warming Christmas. No, I'm not. I'm not doing no, absolutely not. No, I'm going with North Pole News Report. I think Eddie Murphy running around yelling at people and exclaiming Santa knew, Christmas is canceled, and all that shit is just too funny for me not to pick. I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan also, so I feel like it kind of just really played into my wheelhouse. If they didn't bring that one on, I might have actually went with Monty the Triangle Player also. But it's definitely going to be North Pole News Report for me. Eddie Murphy just knows how to scream with the best of them.
It's just another excellent sketch. They had a lot of winners tonight. A lot.
So this has been Sketch in Review. So we're going into Christmas break. So there's no new SNL episodes. Depending on how long the break is, we're probably going to do an episode reviewing Kyle Mooney's new show on Netflix, Saturday Morning All-Star Hits.
I watched all of it in 3 days. It was.
I have not seen it yet. Make sure to watch that before the next episode, whenever that comes out. We might also end up doing just like a sketch up episode of maybe last season or the season before. No definitive plans yet. Stay subscribed. Put us in your RSS. Put us in your feed for podcasts. Am I missing anything for self-promotion?
Write one of our names on a piece of paper, and then draw a nice picture on it, and then attach it to the foot of a homing pigeon, and see what happens.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Listen, we'd love to see your fan art. Please homing pigeon that to us at the earliest convenience. And until then, make sure you stay safe. The holidays are a time for family. If you think you might be exposed to COVID, get tested, get vaccinated, get boosted. We don't want SNL to shut down again.
Yeah.
And until then, stay safe and have a happy holiday. Goodbye.